in round 2 here. Before the recording accidentally started, I did win the die roll, and I have this hand, which I'm keeping because I have a 2, a 3, a removal spell, and rock smallers. No blue or anything, but I don't have any spells in hand, so I'll have time to draw into all that, and plus, again, a solid hand, not worth throwing away. I'm playing against the Lost Coups, who we're still waiting for to join the game. Lost Coups was Lost Coups Lost Connections. Looks like my opponent has some connection issues, just trying to reboot. But I was going to say that Lost Coups is the drafter who is 2 seats to my left. So we were passing to Lost Coups initially. I don't remember that first pack, because if you recall, I was having some recording issues when I took my first card. That's all I was paying attention to. So I'm curious to what Lost Coups is. I doubt Lost Coups is white. The opponent could be. I just don't think so. I'm going to guess red something, but not red-white. That's going to be my guess, but we'll see. It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to pay more attention to who's seated next to me to start gauging the drafts and what their colors are. But we'll pause until Lost Coups reconnects. All right, and we're back. So let's play. Opponent kept at 7. And is chillaxing at the moment, apparently. I'm also having some connections to a pretty slow lag here. Or pretty intense lag, I should say. So, yeah, my opponent's having troubles too. So, oh my god, this is so bad sometimes. Alright, opponent is black, and my opponent also having some lag issues. So that's the whole kit and caboodle there that we're dealing with. Would love that to have been an island or something else. Opponent's totally having trouble with restarting everything, so. Yep, red. Called it. Red-black makes sense. Here's a Fetid Imp. We'll attack right into that home slice. Want that guy gone before I play my Orchard Spirit or my Rock Smallers, if possible, but my opponent probably won't do a block here, which is fine. More importantly, we want the Imp gone before the Rock Smallers come down. Okay, do you have a nice curve out opponent? At this point, I guess I do want an island because I have 2 very strong double blue spells, but I'd really just like to draw more spells, less lands. Ooh. Alright, so this opens a nice Wild Instincts hit to play the race game, which I'm going to do. Ooh, especially with an Alchemist Vial. Maybe I save the Wild... No, but I want to play the Rock Smallers next turn, then we can follow with the Alchemist Vial. That's a much better sequence of events. So while the coast is clear, we'll do this. Knock out the Boggart Brute. Hit for a buttload, otherwise known as 6 points of damage. I don't know if that's officially how much a buttload is, but today it is. Alright, opponent needs to start taking care of my dorky 2s, if there's any removal spells to be had. Doesn't have anything, is staying on defense. I'm okay with that, we're still going to attack in. Let's see. What's happening here? Maybe I didn't want to play that land first, because there's nothing in double blue that matters, and could very easily be that my opponent's like, well, I won't block because this Fetid Imp, you know, might deal with a 5-drop. Love that this is happening, this trade, like I said, so I can follow up with my Rock Smallers. Opponent could waste a turn using another, black 5 removal spell to kill the Rock Smallers, but I keep putting some pressure on with Timberpack Wolf. It's going to take a lot for it to go the distance, but it'll, allow me to keep pressure happening while I draw into some more action. Alchemist Vial will be nice against anything. If my opponent's stuck on 4, I see. It's nice. Let's see. This is really good because my opponent's using Macabre Waltz to get 2 Dork creatures back, and neither... Oh, I guess my opponent can play the Imp right now and have the Death Touch up. This Alchemist Vial, though, is going to do a whole lot to help that not matter. Evolutionary Leap is fun. Let's start with the Vial. See what we draw. And see how I want to sequence this. Yeva's Force Mage. It's kind of nice to play that guy, but yeah, my opponent has 1 black mana. So we're gonna do this. Say adios. Play the Force Mage on Timberpack Wolf. Hit for 8, and then have 3 lethal creatures. Evolutionary Leap will be our backup. Get that down next turn so we can cycle anything that my opponent's trying to remove. Opponent concedes. Yeah, my opponent's just too far behind and stumbled on that turn. So is my opponent playing an aggressive deck? Imp suggests no, but the colors in red suggest yes, and Macabre Waltz, so maybe there's like a whole sacrifice thing going on. Interesting. I'm not too sure. I mean, I saw 3 spells out of my opponent. Sacrifice theme. Do I want counter spells? Do I want Maritime Guard? You know, until I see more from my opponent, my sideboard's so weak. I don't think this Maritime Guard's really going to do a whole lot. Though against those colors, it tends to. I just haven't seen that. Yeah, I'm keeping it. I'm going to run it back. I think that's right. We shall see. Okay, less awesome of a hand. I'm still going to keep it even though I'm a bit flooded. These actually work really well together. Opponent also kept on the play. We start with the blue. What 2-drop do you have? Fetid Imp? No, Matron. Okay, so my opponent is playing more of an aggressive build. We'll find out. Nice to have Disperse available. Probably just going to use it this turn, so I don't fall too far behind. I don't care too much about the Mage Ring Bully's damage, but we'll be able to do Disperse whenever my opponent's 3-drop is, then play the Wardens, and then Disciple and start getting some card advantage. It's like the Boggart Brute or something. Nantuko Husk? Yeah, sure. I just want to set my opponent back some, so I can start setting up my guys. This is kind of nice. Might want to play the Force Mage in order to get the Velen Wardens through. I'm second guessing my Disperse here, but I wasn't going to be blocking, so I didn't want to fall that far behind. I was using it as like a 2-drop. It just sucks that it is card disadvantage, but such is life. There's now a possible Titan Strength here. If I play the Yeva's Force Mage and I have a 3/5, my opponent could 2-for-1, and that's okay with the Titan Strength, but that's it. And if that's the case, I'm fine with that. So for now, we'll do the Force Mage, because I want to get the Warden through. It also helps me draw a card. It's not super efficient on the mana, but I'd rather be able to do this. And even like have the Force Mage as like a blocker I don't care about. After all, the whole point of the Force Mage is to pound through the Renowned dudes. If my opponent sacrifices the Mage Ring Bully, that's just like a chump, and I'm good with that as well. Opponent takes it, and I get to draw the card after Renown, so that's nice. Cool. And we got a nice removal spell too. We're probably gonna take the Husk eventually, since that tends to be a pretty scary card on the sacrifice deck. It's not super awesome because my opponent can still activate Nantuko Husk from like an active Treason or something. So let's see if my opponent has the synergies in the deck. Yep, here we go. Goodbye, Wardens. Gives me no blocks. I just take a huge hit of damage and lose a creature. Three, four, five, six. Ouchie. Still, it's okay. Not great, but it's okay. Have to decide right now. I guess I'll just play the Freakish Disciple just to have some nice blocks up. I don't think the Fetid Imp is going to particularly get me. Ooh. Maybe I play an Orchard Spirit and a Leaf Gilder? I like using my mana like that. However, the Freakish Disciple is pretty much the only relevant card right now. So I like not giving my opponent great active treason targets. Yeah, I'm going to use up all my mana. I'm going to go ahead and attack in for 2. I don't see my opponent blocking. Oh, come on. Come on, lag. You can do it. My opponent can attack for 3. If the Husk comes in, I'll put a blocker in front of it. I'm fine with any trades that happen. Do I want a 2-for-1? I could 2 for 2, but then... Let's see, Titan Strength's a thing. A removal spell. Instant speed, just... Yeah, there's no blocks here. Prickle Boar, that... What do I want to do with that? Alright, so my opponent is more aggressive. That is now confirmed. I'm definitely not the aggressor, but I'm in a pretty precarious life total. Do I need to throw this Claustrophobia out right now? Put it on the Prickle Boar? I think the Freak is decided. The thing is, this is a 5/3 first striker. My cards do not deal with that at all. And I can't take 5 next turn, so I'm jumping. Yeah, this Claustrophobia is going to be pretty bad with the Nantuko Husk, but I think I have to use it right here. And I'm not going to attack. I need my guys for blocks here. My opponent's out of cards, so he's top decking, so I might be able to clean up this board a little bit. Sure, the Fetid Imp can pick away, but at 7, it's alright. I want to start getting rid of my opponent's cards. My opponent can't attack with a Goblin Glory Chaser right now. I can just double block the Majoring Bully with a little bit more safety. And Tuco Husk is coming in. Okay, so everybody is coming in. If that's the case, how do I want to do this? Like a Spirit on the Goblin Glory Chaser for... The Goblin Husk has to be blocked or I die. So we put a Leaf Gilder in front, which just means this is a 2-for-1. And if that's the case, maybe I put both in front, and then my opponent has to sacrifice another card, but then I'm just getting rid of my board for no reason. The Husk has to be blocked. I'm going to go like this, I think. This is basically a chump, because my opponent's going to sacrifice the Prickle Boar, probably this guy as well. If my opponent doesn't have a spell, these guys do trade, and I like that, because then the Disciple's here. I think I only win if my opponent doesn't have an instant here. If my opponent does, then that's just what happens. My opponent can let this trade happen. Okay. Evolving Wilds, alright. So my opponent just didn't have much. And I think that was the right block there. I clicked OK. Okay, I did get OK. Oh, that's not going to really work out for me. Although, I don't have to... You may destroy. Yeah, I can destroy, so I don't have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't do both. And I can't attack with my Orchard Spirit yet because a removal spell takes out kills me. Because if I were to attack and only have one blocker back, then I'm dead. I'm actually play the Naturalist because I think the Disciple's a little bit more important here because of the Death Touch. Nah, I lied. I mean, my opponent is top decking, but if... Still, at least the Freeze Disciple gets in front of the Nantuko Husk really nicely. I just like the Naturalist because it just is a better attacker. So there's a little bit of hope that I can start whittling away my opponent sooner here. Opponent's thinning the deck with the Evolving Wilds so that there's more likely to have a good draw step. Curious what my opponent drew. Looks like nothing at the moment. And we already have a Naturalist here. I'm just going to attack in with the Pharika's Disciple. Is that right? Do I want that? Because I'm going to have the Naturalist for the backups. No. I need to keep the this guy here for defense against the Nantuko Husk since it's lethal. Play this Home Slice. I do not want to use the ability. No, thank you. Love having this combat trick available. Definitely worried about the Fetid Imp getting me low enough to like a Chandra's Fury or something right now, but I don't have any ways to deal with the Imp at the moment, so that's that. Ooh, Dragon Fodder. Not good, because it does buy my opponent enough time to survive. There's 3 damage coming through. This guy's still huge. I need the Free Cycle to block it. I think, though, I need to try to close this game out. So if my opponent has a removal spell, I lose. Like, if I keep both of these guys... If I keep my Free Disciple and, like, a Conclave Naturalist back... Or let's just say an Orchard Spirit back for, like, a backup chump or something. A removal spell still basically gets me. Yeah, my best hope is to try to get through some damage, clear some of my opponent's blockers out of the way with some chumps, and try to end this somewhat soon. Okay, it looks like my opponent's going... Let's see how many things my opponent sacrifices. Because the Husk is really the thing I'm worried about. My opponent's going to try to win off of this Fetid Imp here. So am I cool with just a trade here? If I do a +3/+3, this becomes a 7/7. My opponent has to sacrifice, like, the goblins. One goblin makes the Nantuko Husk big enough. Yeah, I'm going to let the trade happen. The Husk is what scares me. If my opponent wants to sacrifice another goblin, I'll play a Might of the Masses. And that makes my opponent have to sacrifice even more creatures. Okay, so my opponent is going that route. And I actually do want to remove the creatures, because with how low life I am, a removal spell of even a 1/1 is important right now. So this makes my opponent sacrifice another goblin. Still keeps the Husk, but I have the Pharika's Disciple here to block. And I need to draw some kind of action for that. In general, not a great set of trades for me, because this is a Might and a Conclave Naturalist for basically like a Dragon Fodder. But it's I think, important where I'm at 4 life, since I'm behind. Opponent goes in for the Fetid Imp. What did I get? Bounding Krasis is nice. I'm going to just attack with Orchard Spirit, even though there is, you know, I could attack with both and, like, have 2 blockers next turn. I think I don't want to show the Bounding Krasis. It's how I might get my edge if my opponent wants to start going greedy on something. But I will tap the Fetid Imp now. Buy myself that extra turn, get more power on the table. Did my opponent draw anything? My opponent's been whiffing, which has been giving me the chance I need to catch up. Eyeblight Assassin does nothing here. Although it does have more blockers online, I still get to attack for 2. Do I attack now? Whew, this is rough. No, because I have to keep my blocks back, but I do want to attack with the Orchard Spirit. I need to be whittling my opponent down. If I had lethal, like maybe next turn if my guys aren't dead, then I would do it. But right now I can't. This does set me up, if my opponent whiffs again, for me to possibly have a win here. Pretty tight right now. There's so many... Pretty much anything my opponent has can get a win in. But I'm setting myself up to sneak this game away. My opponent... If I'm allowed to attack... No, there we go. I was going to say, if I'm allowed to attack next turn, I'd be able to force some blocks here. But if the opponent attacks with everything, I can't do anything, so I'll concede. Boink. Scab Goliath. Which will be nice against my opponent. Okay, so my opponent is a bit more aggressive and is the Active Treason deck. Called it on the Active Treason. Do I feel like this Maritime Guard's gonna do anything, though? Usually it's what I'm looking at, not negate, even though the Active Treason issue is legitimate. I am going to be able to play the still thing. The Maritime Guard doesn't do a whole lot besides like stall out the board, and I really want things that allow me to train. The Nantuko Husks are just really good against me, so I don't think I want the Maritime Guard here. Is there something else? I actually like the Evolutionary Leap a lot against my opponent. Alchemist Vial worked well in the first game because I had an insane draw. Let me keep going through. It's also good with my Renown and against the Death Toucher, so I think I keep it. Do I want to calculate a dismissal, though? I don't think I do. I'm running it back. You can hear my voice. I'm not particularly confident about it. I would like to play first. Oof. This is a mulligan, unfortunately. This... I have to throw it back also. This is going to be hard. Oh man, this sucks. I'm keeping it. If my opponent does anything insane, then I just might be able to draw into some early creatures, and then once I get these 3 spells online, they're super powerful spells, so that's nice. Well, there's a land. That's helpful. Really able to see how aggressive my opponent's 2-drop is. Looks like it doesn't have red, or it could just be... Oh, that's aggressive. We passed this. I remember that now. Makes sense. Ooh, that's nice. Let's draw our card. See if we get anywhere with it. Not necessarily, but it digs us to a closer land. If I can get 1 land this next turn, then I might be in good shape. Land off the top. Come on, land off the top. I'm already calling for it. It's not even the end step. Oh, yes! Okay. There's hope for this game yet. Again, this guy can't block in... What is it? Pay 2 and you exile 2 other creatures from your graveyard and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright. Well, I'm going to take 4 here, but I'll get a hit back for 2. I'll have a Wild Instincts to kill something else that comes into play. And then Freeze Soil is going to be just a great blocker. Oh, that's going to take the... I'm using Wild Instincts to kill the Nantuko Husk. If my opponent wants to sacrifice, like, everything, that's fine. This guy can't block. Don't you want to trade? That's confusing to me. Let me think, though, for a second here. Alright. Could play the Rock Maulers. I really want this Husk on, because that's part of the whole combo my opponent has. If I use a mana, so the creature can't attack or block this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I attack and my guy becomes a 3/4, and then I Wild Instincts, it's still not big enough to survive, but at least everything has to die. Versus 4, 5. No, my opponent would still have to sacrifice, like, it would be a 3 for 2, but I'm willing to do that right now. So my opponent has to sacrifice everything in order for the Disciple to die to the Nantuko Husk. And it's a 3 for 2. I get a little bit of value. The Spoiler Soul is here. More importantly, the Nantuko Husk goes. My opponent will have to use all the mana to get the Spoiler Souls back, and then I'm on board with my 5 drops. And this keeps my opponent off of the Active Treason plan. My opponent doesn't go that route, which is actually quite nice. I'm happily going to attack in to get my guy Renowned, even though I'm still taking 4 on the crack back. At least I'm not falling behind. This is 4 hitting my opponent and upgrading my Pharika Duder. I could even argue that I want to Alchemist Vial this turn. I don't think so, though. I'd rather keep it available once my other guys are online. Here comes some 4 hits. If my opponent has, like, hey, Active Treason, hey, removal spell, here's a Prickle Boar. Is there any reason to go in for an Elvish Visionary right now? No. If I draw a land, I can't play anything else anyway. This guy's going to bash through as a 5/3. First strike. So I'm on a 2-turn clock right now. The Rock Maulers can block... Or, sorry, Rock Maulers or Pharika's Disciple can block here. I'm going to attack in, though. So I'm not blocking the boar. And I'll have a blocker for the Despoiler. Now, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It does mean that I die to an Active Treason. Well, shoot. I should have thought that through. In that case, I'm playing the Elvish Visionary. I should have attacked with the Pharika's Disciple. I'm in a really precarious spot right now because I died to an Active Treason. This is nice, but I'm not going to do a whole lot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to use the Alchemist Vial to keep the Prickle Boar back. And I can use the Elvish to block the Despoiler Soul, so. Just want to stay alive long enough. Alright, not great, but I have attacks. Trade the Fetid Imp? I feel like I have to. It also keeps the Rock Maulers somewhat alive. Alright, Home Slices trade. Oh, something else? Dark Dabbling. How interesting. But I have all my blue bounce mana up. Why would you do that? It does get me here, but such is life. Does that mean, can I even afford to play the Rock Maulers now? I guess I have to. I mean, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not dead on an active treason, but I need power, and the only way I'm going to win this game is by, you know, getting to the board one way or another. But an active treason, which my opponent has 2 of at least in deck, probably has one in hand because we haven't seen it yet. Might even be sandbagging like an Antuco Husk to like do a combo wombo. But steals the Rock Maulers. Boom. I'm up against it here. Yep, here we go. Here it comes. The pain. All the pain. I could go down to 2. Or I can chump. The question is, where does my Elesh... This guy can't be brought back yet. I could keep this guy on. I'll be getting a 6/6 back, plus this 4/4, which is still a chump. Yeah, we're just going to chump right now since my opponent can't get the Despoiler back yet. If there's another creature in the graveyard, I would just be chumping, of course, the 5/3, because this guy just comes on. I'm not worried about him blocking. I'm on a 2-turn clock with the Imp, but I think it's my best chance to stay alive, trying to attack through with like my Rock Maulers and drawing creatures to, you know, dissuade my opponent from attacking. Valoran Wardens is nice. 1, 2, 3. So I win with my combat trick or a bounce spell or something. I am going to go ahead and play the Naturalist now. Because there's a chance that I can play 2 creatures next turn. I have to chump the 5/3, of course. But there's a chance that I can actually play the Wardens and... Oh, interesting. I mean, I get it. It's just edicts. Or not edicts. I don't know what the term... It just kills one of my dudes, and my opponent wants to play conservatively because my opponent's going to play around a pump spell. I am going to put my opponent down to 5. Is that correct? How am I likely to win this game? An active treason gets me no matter what. So I lose to an active treason, period. Because of the trample. Can't play around that. If I attack and my opponent takes 4 damage and the Fetid Imp dies, then my opponent can just get the Despoiler of Souls online. Yeah, so I lose then. So I can't attack no matter what. So we'll just play the Wardens. My Rock Mauler can block the Prickle Boar. So I'm not like flat out dead. How come this isn't casting? Oh, I'm in combat, that's why. I did not realize I was in combat. You're just wasting time here. This is what I want. Forced to block the Prickle Boar. I'll put the Rock Maulers in front, even though... Yeah, because I don't have anything that... If I had like a Titan Strength, then maybe I would chump, and that's how I'd be top decking to try to win. But I don't. So there you go. Opponent did not have an active treason or other ways to close out the game. So what do I have? Volcanic Rambler. Oh, wow. So I need something to win me the game now. That's not going to do it. But if I attack with both, something might happen. I should have attacked with both, suggesting I had a combat trick, so that's like the only way I win anyway. But still, such is life. This doesn't really matter. The Volcanic Rambler is what's going to kill me next turn anyway. But still. Death Touch. I do 1 point. This guy's killing me. See if my opponent figures it out. And the concedes? Do I concede? Look at all that land. Yeah, Rambler. Yep. That's the game. I'm gonna make him do it, though. I am one of those annoying guys. I don't know if it's annoying. I think it's good form, obviously. That's why I choose to do it. But I am one of those people that makes you actually finish me off. But there you have it. I'm gonna deconstruct the draft in the next video. If you like listening to it, great. If not, bye.